good fun. Days like these are great. You get the whole industry together, and to have, companies and corporations like Interbet and Cape Racing who are so generous with sort of time and energy into making a day like this possible is it's fantastic for everyone.
Welcome to our preview show for Hollywoodbets Scottsville on Sunday, the 21st of July. I'm joined in the studio by Dees Dianand as we go through the 8 races. The first off at 12:20. Before we get into race 1, how's it, Dees? Nice to be in the studio with you again.
Yeah, nice to have you here. Of course, previewing, the race meeting at Hollywoodbets Scottsville where they put on 8 races. It looks like a decent card, Graham. Competitive racing, and I'm looking forward to previewing it.
Very competitive racing, full fields, and no exception is the first race, a maiden juvenile plate over 1,200 metres, being 8 races on the card. This is the first leg of the bipod. There's been a market move for number 1, Feel the Wind, but we'll get to that in a moment. First up, let's hear from Dean Kenilworth.
Yeah, she's by a top stallion. She's a neat, well-balanced filly. She was supposed to run in Cape Town a couple of months ago, and we had a scratch on the morning of the race. She cast herself in the box. So I brought her up here, get the sunshine on her back and get some proper work into her. And if she jumps smartly and she's in contention, she's a type of filly that I'd put in the exotics.
So Dees, obviously Dean Kenilworth has got number 6 Lucrative, the 2-year-old daughter of Vercingetorix, who's one of the leading lights in a very competitive betting market. But the money's come for number 1, Feel the Wind, was priced up at 8-1, is now in at 9-2. First 2 runs, okay-ish. But are you surprised the money's coming in such a big way?
Maybe not, because I'm just trying to judge these horses that have run, Graham, and it's clear to see that all of them have been soundly beaten in all of their runs. There are some names that will jump off the page that they've competed against, but I just get a strong feeling here, Graham, that this race could be a first-timer coming through. We saw it midweek, Garrett van Zyle's runner, too good for the race runners. And I personally think, whilst there is some form and all these young horses are open to any amount of improvement, I'm going to suggest that a first-timer could possibly win this. I've looked up some of their pedigrees. You remember Outcome, number 2, Sweet Reunion. She used to race in the silks of Steve Stallis. She was very good. This is a Mike Miller family through and through. Lucrative. Then Lady of Distinction, Graham, is a full brother to Gladiatorian. So keep an eye out for that if there's any money for that, because he's well bred. He was a R1.5 million purchase. And then this other horse, number 15, Terminal Velocity, is a half-sister to Full Velocity. So that did very well for Tron Terry. So there are some pedigrees that we can work around. Of the race runners, very difficult, Graham. If you want to follow the money, of course, number 1 will have to go into the bipod. I like the look of Nathan Cotson's runner here, Graham, number 13, Edge of Tomorrow. The last 2 runs, especially the last start with the blinkers, was good. So if I had to pick horses that have raced for the bipods, numbers 1 and 13 would be my 2 leading contenders. And then of the unraced runners, 6, 9 and 15.
As you mentioned, a number of well-bred first-timers. So watch the market as we get closer to race time, because I think that's going to be indicative of what is really expected. I'm in the same camp as Dees as far as the race runners is concerned. I'm expecting a much better run from number 13, Edge of Tomorrow. And we're also looking for improvement from number 5, Sweet Dreamer. But it's quite a complicated start to the bipod.
How many horses are we going to include here, Graham?
I'm not doing a bipod, so you can include.
I promised you. If you survive this leg with the minimum spin, you've done superbly well, because we're playing mostly with unknowns.
Well, I think the market is going to be your best guide as you get to closer to race time. That's the advantage of a race like this when it's the first leg of the bipod. You don't have to finalise your selections until you've seen them go down to the start, until you've had a look at the very latest betting. 1 and 13 of the race runners, with improvement to come from 5, Sweet Dreamer, but you can't ignore the first timers.
It's Donovan Everett from Cape Racing, and I'd just like to say it's an absolute pleasure to be involved with Interbet and Cape Breeders in this golf day today here at Pearl Valley. It's fantastic for the industry to see all the relevant stakeholders coming down and having a good time and networking, and it's exactly what the industry needs right now in terms of moving forward and recreating some positivity to take us forward into the next year.